Oh, you might know that sound effect. So there is a video game that just came out. Just Strife dropped his take on Stop Killing Games. Actually, I'll might put that on the list as well. I think tomorrow is just going to be a full React stream. Looking at what we have here. Why is this being like this? We might check out Ross's Stop Killing Games video as well. And we'll check out Josh's as well. But regardless, that one. Regardless, a game came out that set fucking records. Oh my god. I am genuinely surprised by how well this game has done. So let me just, Josh is only like 12 minutes. Well, we'll just watch them together. That makes the most sense. 2.358 million 24-hour peak. Let's go to the charts. Let me just show you something, just in case you're unaware. All-time peak. Second highest. It's above Power World. It's above Power World in peak players. Hello, Zaluda friends. I don't know why you said Zaluda friends, but hello, software. Welcome. I've been watching like Black Myth trailers since the game was first announced. I am so excited for it. I really want to play it, and we're probably going to play it on stream after. Like, I know maybe I said I was going to play something else after DMC, but I'm probably just going to put Black Myth in that slot. So before we do that, let's check out Black Myth Wukong before you buy. I have pretty much avoided. Before continuing, you have to see this Tenma tweet about. Oh no, what did Tenma say? If it's Tenma, it's gonna be something absolutely unhinged. Maybe because the video is the video coming though? That's the question. Is this gonna load? Okay, here we go. What the hell did Tenma say? Give it a second. Why does Twitter suck so much? Or X, or whatever the hell it's called now. Why is this website like this? I'm not gonna show it on screen just until I check, because it's Tenma, and I don't know what her fans are gonna post in the comments section. Anytime you have VTuber fans, there is absolutely no telling what's going to be in the comments. It's very, very possibly not going to be safe. But Twitter is not loading right now. Twitter is just dying. So we'll watch the video and then we'll come back to that.
Hey, and we're back with another episode of Before You Buy, that show where we give you some straight-up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. As usual, it's me, Jake Baldino.
It's Baldino, not Boldino. I guarantee this is a person who got bullied in school because of this name. Like, this is such an unfortunate name to have. It's so easy to insult someone with this name. I would know. My name is Brodie. I have a perfect name for it as well.
Oh, and today we're talking about Black Myth Wukong. This is a big action combat adventure from Game Science. This is a mobile developer jumping into their first big console PC game. Now, this game has been slowly hyped up for years, from its graphics to
I believe it wasn't the first trailer. I believe the first trailer was like PS5 announcement. I want to see if I can find it. Black Myth Wukong announcement trailer. When was it? Official trailer. 3 years ago. Yeah, it's the Unreal Engine 5 gameplay trailer demo thingy. Twitter is dead right now. Twitter is actually not opening. I thought it was just my browser that's breaking. No, Twitter's just not loading.
Character and story, and we've been cautiously keeping an eye on it. Now, keep in mind with this video, this is my first impressions after the first, 13, 14 hours or so, but I'm actually liking this one more.
Look at this environment. Like, I know people are like, oh, Unreal 5, like, but man, like, I am never not impressed by just how ridiculous games have gotten now. That you can play a game that looks like this. I know you're seeing it through, like, Twitch compression and stuff, and, like, YouTube compression on the video, but, like, even so, it's crazy just how good games have got, like, how good games look now.
Than I expected. It's flawed for sure, but I think if you had your eye on this and you were hopeful, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's ambitious, and even where it stumbles, I think this is a great debut for this studio. And just so you know, I've been playing a review copy on PC. God. That's where all this footage is, and all of this gameplay footage you see here is spoiler-free. So, if you haven't already heard this, it's important to note that Black Myth Wukong is inspired by the 16th.
I wonder what this shape here is inspired by. It could be anything to heal. I know Journey to the West, yeah, it kind of fits, but like even so, like that like shape of the Estus flask is so set now for Souls-like games. 100% Souls-like or not, it has Souls inspirations. Like Souls-like is becoming such a expanded out term. It's like roguelite, right? Or roguelite to roguelike, where you start having less and less and less elements from the genre, where you get to a point where it's like one or two things and people are still using the name. The name, from my understanding, it's like got a couple of elements, but it's not really... I see the demos. It's not really like Souls-like. It's not Souls-like in the way that, what's a good example? I'm completely blanking on names. Fuck. Souls-light? I think we need to start going with that terminology. What? The Pinocchio one that people were playing earlier this year. The one that's like Bloodborne. Why am I blanking on names? I completely forgot. Lies of P. There you go. That
century classical Chinese novel Journey to the West. Now, this to me is one of the game's defining bits. It's why I was interested. You play as a badass monkey with a staff and you go on a really varied adventure fighting zombies and creatures, rat kings, evil ancient monks, dragons, you name it. This is a fairly linearly structured game with some diversions. It's not really a Souls-like, like many people expected. Sure, you rest and level up at like...
You have a dodge roll, therefore Souls-like. That's the point we've gotten to now. You have a dodge roll, you have save points, therefore Souls-like. Like, we really are at Souls-light now.
Bonfire checkpoints, but that's really where the comparisons end. This is an action combat adventure with light RPG
perfectly happy with.
You have some stats to worry about, but you're not upgrading like a multitude of stats like endurance and strength and magic and intelligence. No, it's all just focused on, you know, the basic level up and simple loot and character progression through a skill tree.
From what I saw with the character progression, it's more Sekiro-like, where you get to pick like a couple of abilities. Is God of War Souls-like? See, things that come out before the name end up getting the old term. Usually. Sometimes. Sometimes. But look, with the way that people define it, yes. Like, how loose the term has become, yes it is. But this is the point where genre terms just become meaningless.
Some other tricks along the way. Now, your character, as a baseline, has a heavy and light attack, as well as a dodge. A lot of it is based around focus points, so you need to dodge and strike and do well to build this up, or hold a button to waste some stamina and charge it up, and then bam. When you have these points, you can launch a more powerful heavy attack that can often stagger enemies and have other bonuses. You can also deflect certain enemy projectiles, but otherwise, your main defense is really just dodging like crazy. Perfect dodges are rewarded with a satisfying effect and a little bonus, so get that focus stored up and hit triangle at the right moment.
How do you guys feel about dodging over parrying? Because I really like the parry system in Sekiro, but I also like dodge systems like you have in the Souls, in like Dark Souls as well. I don't know which I prefer. I like both of them. I prefer prefer parry. I think parry looks cooler, but dodge, like the way I've seen the dodging look in this, it looks pretty dope as well. I think it depends on like how big the enemies are and how well animated they are, I guess. Even more so if it's frame perfect. Please don't make it frame perfect.
And bam, a Monster Hunter greatsword level slam dunk that just feels so satisfying to properly pull off. There are also multiple stances that are swappable on the fly with the D-pad. These stances are really just variations on the monkey's staff. Oh, did I forget to mention that it's like a staff that can transform? Because that's part of the ancient lore, man. Get with it. These
I've seen Dragon
change
Ball.
your entire fighting style, but they do matter the most with that charged heavy attack for situational shakeups. There's the big heavy slam, which is just so satisfying. I tend to stick with that as the main. But then there's the elevated staff where the monkey perches atop it like
See, look, it's a Souls-like game. It says defeated when you beat a monster. I like systems that encourage both, especially when parry timing is generous. We can't hear you when guys speaking at 300% volume. I can turn it down. It's all good.
Pole, avoiding some damage while also charging up a big downward slam. There's more, and I'm still experimenting with them, but I'll let you discover them. They seem pretty situational, and I've had a tendency to only swap to and use them in specific instances, more than just having them equipped and using them consistently. Even still, sometimes it's tough to learn where exactly a stance might work, because enemy attacks are so...
The way you learn is you die 100 times, and then you keep bashing your head against the wall, and then you change it, and then it works. That's the way that I do it, at least.
Insane and aggressive. It can take a lot of trial and error to really get what the hell you're doing with a stance. A lot of the times you're given these stances, and then their use case isn't really spelled out for you. You gotta just figure it out. But still, I kind of like these implementations. Along with that, you have a magic.
Do you want to play in a streamer? Oh, absolutely. We're gonna finish DMC first, and then we're gonna play it.
That you can spend on.
So it might. Sorry for the pause again. It might not be next week. It might be the week after. But I'm definitely, absolutely gonna play it.
Special abilities. The first one introduced to you is a temporary and pretty short enemy freeze, like catching them for just enough time to land a few hits. Some of these abilities are offensive, some that help a little bit in the defense department, and they're paced throughout the game and seem effective.
Wait, so you get different costumes throughout the game? I just spotted this. So I've seen them have like 3 different costumes so far. I'm assuming you do get different costumes.
But more importantly, entertaining and fun to pull off at the right moment. It's just so good to screw over an enemy at the last second. These are on cooldowns, but the bigger challenge and strategy is not burning your entire magic meter before getting to a challenging enemy where you're really gonna need it. You're also essentially defeating certain enemies and collecting some of their abilities. Our hero character is canonically like a shapeshifter, and throughout the game, you defeat and earn the ability to transform into.
One thing I really like about this is as you're hitting the enemies, it really feels like you're hitting them, right? Like a lot of games where you smack people around, they don't really respond.
So essentially,
just watch this again.
Defeating certain enemies and collecting some of their abilities. Our hero character is canonically like a shapeshifter, and throughout the game, you defeat and earn the ability to transform into these enemies temporarily. There's a full transformation where like you can temporarily become a different creature and walk around and kick ass, or ones that you trigger and you will transform for a moment for like a quick thing, or like a big special one-hit attack, or like a poison blast, stuff like that. These things give variation to a pretty simple striking combat system.
So it's kind of like the what are they called in Sekiro, where you can do like the Ichimonji and all those other abilities? I've been playing Sekiro a lot lately. I've also learned I'm bad at Sekiro. Yeah, that's how everyone feels when they play it. Do you bite the hand that feeds? May I devour that hand. I could make this go real weird if I wanted to.
You can do light attacks and then time it right with a heavy attack, and the animations are incredible. But
is this action RPG Kirby?
After a while, you might find yourself just doing the same best combos over and over again. It really only matters when an enemy feels like a grind, or like when you're fighting low-level enemies. The more complex bosses, you really have bigger things to worry about. Is the combat most refined, the most laser-precise, balanced thing? No. If you were looking for a Souls-like, this is where you might be disappointed if you were looking for even more depth, but I had fun with it. Story-wise, it has a lot going for it.
From what I'm hearing, it sounds like it has as much depth as Sekiro, which is not a problem to me. What are you watching anyway? Black Myth Wukong before you buy.
Because of like what I said, like what it's based on. I only know the basics of Sun Wukong, but I was really
watched
just
Dragon
here
Ball
for the ride.
You watched Dragon Ball, is what you're saying.
Chinese myth. You get mysterious tales, beautiful vignettes,
more content farming,
thoughtful quotes, really well designed and cool looking characters and cinematic action framing. But I didn't really get a good feel for a sense of story. You just kind of go along. Things happen.
That's fine with me.
Characters say things and
That's
quote
fine with
random
me.
things, and it really does not do a good job of ushering people into these ancient tales. I was still curious the whole time and had fun seeing cool stuff, but I wasn't like compelled.
I wonder if this tells the story in the same way as a fucking Souls-like game. Can I get a link to this? I can watch that when I come back to this. Yes, you can. Here you go. Here is the video. I'll put it in the Twitch chat as well. I wonder if it just tells a story through like random lore of items you pick up on the ground.
Held or emotionally invested. It's just like a sequence of really cool stuff. Now the game is structured in chapters.
Fine by me.
There's typically a big bad boss at the end of a chapter, and it's a matter of you getting your way there. You might run into one mid-boss that kicks your ass, so turn around and find another alternating path that likely brings you to another mid-boss you can cut your teeth on first. Occasionally, you'll run into an NPC.
Here's the Souls-like part. Okay, so what do we have here? We have rest. So this is recovering. So it does resting like Sekiro does, where you can go to a bonfire, but it won't automatically respawn enemies. You have to actually actively do that. Travel, that's your fast travel. Self-advance, that's your leveling. Craft, well, that's crafting. Brew, I guess that's making... I did notice there were like multiple potions, so that's probably that. But there's also make medicines there, so I don't know what brew and make medicines are and what those are different. And then store, and that's obviously storage. Why would you ever use that? I don't know.
Or a little mystery, but this is mostly areas with a few mob-type enemies that mostly aren't too crazy, and then a few tougher guys here and there, and then lots and lots of bosses. Like, I mean it. You can fight one unique boss, walk through a hallway, and then bam, there's a completely new, different boss ready to square up.
I already
this
did
is where the game
face.
is really ambitious. Like I said, the amount of unique fights feels really, really damn special.
Doesn't the game have like 50 bosses or something? Like it's some stupid number. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, it's gonna be like Sekiro, which reuses a ton of bosses. If it actually has like tons of unique bosses, I will be really impressed.
Times I was in a glorious, over-the-top, brutal fight with like
Hollow Knight had 46. Yeah, but Hollow Knight's also a 2D game. Which, you know, that's still very impressive. Is that counting the forms of the big glowy boy? The one in the tournament?
Screen-filling animations and explosions, thinking, oh man, this has to be the end of this whole chapter or sequence. Yeah. You know, maybe I'll get a big cutscene or something. And then I finally beat them, and then nope, that was just a regular pedestrian boss in the middle of
Sekiro reused bosses, but the fights are pretty different. What's the guy with the purple, the purple glowy mist around him? Sekiro bosses, because I felt like after I'd fought that like 3 times, it wasn't very different. Hollow Knight also reused bosses, yeah. The not headless. Where is it? Shichimen. Yeah, when I fought Shichimen like 3 times, yeah, it was a little bit different. But I think most of them are pretty similar. I do think there were some really cool bosses in Sekiro though, and some bosses that seem like completely out of nowhere, like the armored warrior. Like that definitely was different. But yeah, I like Sekiro a lot. Sekiro's very fun. I didn't finish all of the bosses because there were some that I fucked up activating. But regardless.
A level with another one right around the corner. A mid-boss in this game rivals some of the best bosses in other like regular action games, and that's really damn impressive. From the level of challenge to the music and setting to the over-the-top crazy movesets of some of these enemies, it's just nuts. And I've been having a lot of fun.
I'm watching these animations, and I'm generally not a big fan of beast enemies that kind of like swing around, but I feel like what I've seen so far
in other
works really well.
Action games, and that's really damn impressive. From the level of challenge to the music and setting to the over-the-top crazy movesets of some of these enemies, it's just nuts. And I've been having a lot of fun just consistently encountering new cool stuff. It makes it feel really well paced, and also got me a little addicted, man. Like I kept playing after I said I'd stop because I just wanted to see the next new thing around every corner. And
that's
it's just
nice
really
to hear.
fun when you get a good run going and you just feel like a ruthless badass. When the combat hits, it hits. Now, some of the big boss enemies go so insane that they will actually trap you in a corner, and like the camera lock on screws up and makes it so you can't see attacks are coming. This happened to me.
The camera is always the final boss. It doesn't matter what game it is, the camera is always the final boss.
Way more than I'd like. And it was pretty annoying when I was doing well, but having to get boxed into a corner by a taller enemy who jumps in the air, and then the camera gets stuck because it tried to pan up, and now like it's just a mess, and then I can't see big hits coming my way. Very frustrating. Also, if we're talking about annoying stuff, this game really needs a map. As far as I know, I couldn't find one. Even if it's just a vague map, it would really help because some of the chapters have really big areas. It is worth noting that you can revisit and fast travel back to previous areas.
Sekiro didn't have an explicit map, did it? Like, it had a map of how the map at the bonfire where it showed you how the areas were connected. But Sekiro didn't have an explicit map either, did it? I don't think it did. I'm pretty sure it didn't. And I think the only Souls game that actually has a map is Elden Ring. Yes? Yeah, that sounds right to me. I'm pretty sure the Souls games didn't. A map, I get it, but like, you don't need it per se. And Elden Ring had one because it's open world, and you would be screwed without one. Sekiro's really good at guiding you through the level design, though. Maybe this game's not. I've not played it yet, so it's very possible that like the levels are a bit weirdly laid out.
Previous little bonfires if you want, but that doesn't really show you much in terms of like getting a good read on an environment, on a layout.
Right.
But man, I will compliment the look of these areas. Level design wise, everything is really simple, like structural. And I did encounter some invisible walls, which was sometimes
definitely
a buzzkill.
Definitely
But otherwise, damn, these areas look really good graphically. Dry grasslands, deep deserts, lush green detailed forests, blinding white snow. In all of it, they really excel here. From graphics to art design, this game is absolutely gorgeous. Flowing rivers, lush foliage, detailed textures, striking shadows, and ray tracing. This is the rare instance of a game that
we will not be ray tracing. we will not be ray tracing on my AMD card.
Originally teased as a graphical showcase like years ago. And
yeah, when it got teased as a graphical showcase, that's the reason I got so excited for it initially. Since it became a graphical, or since then, it being a graphical showcase has kind of like really come down because now every game is a UE5 game. It's no longer a graphical masterpiece. It still looks amazing, but like when you saw that original trailer, when you saw the way the snow moved, when you saw everything about the game, like that game was showing off what the PS5 could do. Frame rate better than ray tracing, 100%.
Final product actually looks really good. With that being said, I did play on PC, and even on a high-end PC, I did have some issues. The occasional stuttering, a few glitches.
The occasional stuttering, yeah, I've noticed it during the video.
With some enemies floating, a few crashes, and some little frame rate issues, especially as you get deeper into the game. Means if you're sensitive to this stuff, you should maybe wait or do some more research.
I have heard there's been some issues on like the newest generation AMD cards, and obviously there's more issues with Intel chips. If you have a 13th or 14th gen Intel, don't play this game because right now it's yeah, it's still it's like really damaging those chips. The BIOS update slows down the damage, but like this game is pushing those chips and it's really hurting them. So avoid that. Better yet, just get rid of the stupid CPU already because it's broken. Stop using a 13th, 14th gen Intel because they're broken.
Search with a PC nerd reviewer. I've seen some critics not have any issues. I've seen some have worse than me. I also have not seen the console version of this game. And I believe none of my fellow reviewers have either, meaning definitely wait until we know what's up, because this game is coming in a little hot.
Oh,
the potential technical
that's
issues
cool.
muffles what is
that's a cool
otherwise
attack.
a really fun game. Like I said, be warned, it's not a Souls-like, and some Souls fans might not love the combat, but they'll like the challenge for sure. Me personally, playing this game,
Greeting from Germany, how's it going?
Wukong is a challenging, thrilling adventure with unique lore, settings, and vibe, and
well,
I definitely recommend it
for other reasons.
But that's it before you buy. You know how this goes by now. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion, and now I want to hear yours down in the comments. Have you been looking forward to this game? I'd love to know your impressions from watching a bunch of gameplay and stuff like that. This review is dropping before the game actually is out, before you can actually buy it and play it. So we just wanted to get you some quick
My hope is that by the time I play it, because I'm going to play it in like 2 weeks, my hope is there's some patches out that address some of the performance issues.
Here. Hopefully it helped. Enjoy the gameplay. Let us know what you're thinking about Black Myth Wukong, really, Journey to the West, anything at all down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If this video helped you out at all, clicking the like button's all you got to do. It does help us out. Thank you. But I'm Jake Baldino. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
No, I did see the post from Tenma. It did end up loading. Also, I'm not sure what language we're gonna play it in, because there is an English dub for it, but I kind of want to play it in the Chinese. Because from what I've heard, it sounds really good, and the English is it's a bit. Weeb version. That looks really cool. I was gonna play it anyway, right? Like, I was gonna play it anyway. It doesn't change that, but I'm definitely gonna play it now.